The June 11th, 2024 regular meeting of the Everett Public Schools Board of Directors is hereby called to order. For the land acknowledgement, Robertson.
We acknowledge the original inhabitants of this area, the Stohopsh people, their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, and gathered and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. In Everett Public Schools, we strive to create equitable outcomes and build a culture of inclusive belonging for all students, teachers, staff, and community.
Thank you. And we'll now move on to the flag salute. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, thank you. Now we'll move on to the roll call. Will the secretary please call the roll?
President Mitchell.
Present.
Vice President Herman.
Present.
Director Adkins.
Present.
Director Mason.
Present.
Director Olinsky.
Present.
Student Representative Gilbertson.
Present.
Student Representative Kink.
Thank you. Now section 5.0, which is the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Saltzman, were there any changes to the agenda after it was published?
Yes, Madam Chair, there's been one change to the agenda. Item 7.01, the superintendent's report. The report was added.
All right. Is there any objection to the meeting agenda being adopted by general consent? Seeing none, the agenda is adopted by general consent. Now we'll move on to our favorite part of the meeting, which is recognitions. First, we have the recognition of the May Core Value Champions, Ms. Reeves.
Good evening, Board of Directors, President Mitchell and Dr. Saltzman. Tonight we are going to recognize the May Core Value Champions for collaboration. And so we have from Penny Creek Elementary, Principal Shefflin, from Silver Lake Elementary, Principal Campbell, and from Woodside Elementary, Principal Dr. Cobbs. And for the family, we're going to have everyone stay up front, so you'll get a chance to take pictures of your kiddos, so we'll make sure that that happens at the end. So first, let's have Penny Creek.
Okay. Well, I am honored to be here to present and recognize Piper Palmer. Piper was chosen by the specialists in our school because they see all 791 of our students, and they chose Piper for her collaboration, and this is what they wrote. They said, Piper Palmer is receiving this award for exempling Everett Public Schools' core value of collaboration. Piper excels in all areas of teamwork and collaboration, both inside and outside of the classroom. Her collaborative spirit, respect for others' opinions, and willingness to go above and beyond have greatly enhanced the learning experience for herself and her peers. And her classroom teacher, Mr. Roberts, says this: Piper is friendly and gets along well with everyone, creating a positive and inclusive atmosphere in the classroom. She relates well to her peers and is appreciative of different perspectives and experiences. She always looks for ways to be helpful in the classroom. We are so lucky to have her as part of our class. Congratulations, Piper.
So Board of Directors and President Mitchell and Dr. Saltzman, I am very honored on behalf of Silver Lake Elementary to recognize Landon Soriano. Landon is being recognized because he plays a key role in various leadership activities where he collaborates respectfully with adults and students at Silver Lake. He is on the 5th grade soccer leadership team. He volunteers as a safety patrol, and he has implemented positive changes at recess by role modeling respectful and responsible behavior. We are very proud of Landon, and he is so dedicated to soccer, he's actually going to a practice after this. So very, very happy you could be here, and congratulations to Landon.
President Mitchell, Board of Directors, student representatives, and Dr. Salzman. I'm honored to present to you Hala Elsed, and she is a fifth grade student at Woodside. She was nominated by the music teacher, Mrs. Hill at Woodside, as well as her classroom teacher, Dr. Arbor. Her music teacher says, Hala is a true leader in collaboration as she works daily during her lunch recess in the music room, working together with kindergarten students and other fifth grade music helpers. When working with kindergarten students, Hala is kind, patient, and encouraging as she helps the kindergartners work towards their music goals. Hala is a wonderful collaborator with all students, and the teacher feels that she is so lucky to have her in her music class. Her teacher, Dr. Arbor, says, Hala has shown great, remarkable strength in collaborating with peers, also eager to work together and support classmates in group activities. Her positive attitude shines through all interactions, making the learning environment more enjoyable for everyone. Congratulations, Hala.
Okay, let's have you guys kind of center in the middle, okay? So we can get all the work behind you. Perfect. That looks great. 1, 2, 3. Okay, families, anybody want to come on up?
Yes.
One more. Do you want me to take a picture for you? Oh. There we go. Thank you very much.
And I'm afraid I'm going to use this word a couple of times tonight. This is a bittersweet time of the evening because our second point of recognition is for our graduating student representative, Miss Alice Gilbertson. Alice has been with us for 2 years. She follows in a long line of excellent student representatives, and each of us will take a couple minutes, Alice, to share a couple words with you. And but I'll begin so that the other directors can collect their thoughts. Just that it's been fun to watch you grow over the past 2 years. And I want to thank you because I learned from you how to listen better to students. And I'm going to take that forwards with me. I wish you the best with everything that's to come, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Dr. Herman? Yeah.
Student Representative Gilbertson, I got to see you in Olympia talking with legislators, as well as up here on the dais, and it has been an absolute joy. And I also want to let you know that I brag about both of our student reps, and I just want to thank you for the time and dedication that you've given the school board. I'll talk a little bit more actually during the Ledge Rep update about how important it is. And yeah, just a big thank you, and we wish you all the best in the future.
Well, I have not been here as long as the others, so I don't know the full 2 years of your time here, but I presume you did a great job representing students before then. But since I've been here, just thank you so much for taking the time to represent students' interests and especially representing Seagulls. I've always appreciated your insights and your willingness to speak up, and just thank you for being here. And don't forget that you have a voice and to use that voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I had the honor and privilege of interviewing you at Everett High several years ago, and as it has been mentioned, you've grown tremendously in these past few years. And I just remember when you were first on the board, you were fairly quiet, and I also want to remind you that that quiet is good. Sometimes we all think that you have to be an extrovert and very comfortable in a public role. And you can also be very powerful and quiet at the same time. So thank you for your input these past few years.
I was very surprised to see how passionately you advocated for all the kids when we went to Olympia. And I think you're at a very important turning point in your life. And I wish you what we say in the Navy is, or what we said in the Navy, is farewell and following seas. So.
Thank you, guys.
Director.
Yes.
Alice, poised, thoughtful, and caring. That's how I would describe you. And you never missed a meeting when we met in those afternoons, and you always gave me awesome insight. But watching you in Olympia navigate your thoughts and your care meant a great deal to our system. So thank you for your service on the board, truly.
Will, anything?
Yeah, so I was like really nervous when we went to Olympia the first time, and I thought your insights were really helpful, like Rowan said. And so thank you for that. And I also like hearing what you have to say about Everett. Sometimes I wouldn't know what to say about Jackson, and you'd always have interesting things to say, especially when we met with Dr. Saltzman. So thank you.
Thank you all. So Alice, if you can join me down here.
Cake.
Thank you so much. Yeah, she's wants to say a few words. Okay, Ms. Gilbertson,
Okay, just one second. I need to find it. I wrote it all down. I
I
was prepared.
apologize, I skipped you.
That's okay. All right. Let me see. I just wanted to say that being part of this school board has just been a wonderful learning experience, getting to work with all these amazing people, not just the board members, but all the people out there and all the people that work for this district. And I just wanted to thank the board especially, because you guys have always been there for me, helping me along the way. I want to thank Danny, even though she's not here, because she would meet with me, Will, even Benta when she was here before board meetings, talking about the agenda, explaining it to us. Thank you to Darlene and Jamie, who somehow dealt with my forgetfulness and bad email checking habits, but they were always there for me. And thank you, Dr. Saltzman. He took time out of every one of his Thursdays or Fridays to meet with Will and I and talk about our upcoming meetings and prepare us and help us have things to say during board comments, as well as he took us to the Totem where we got some pretty dang good lunch. So just thank you to everyone. I appreciate it all.
Thank you, and now, cake. We'll just take a few minutes away from the dais if anybody wants cake. Point zero, the superintendent's report. Dr. Saltzman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public this evening. I would like to give you an update of the workings of the district before I get to some honorary and celebratory items. But I want to let the public know that April and May in schools are the testing season. And what does that really mean? During the spring, assessments are administered. Over 14,000 assessments in a large district our size are administered. These exams show how students have progressed over the year, and it helps teachers understand exactly where support is needed, as well as the central office principals and assistant principals as we dive into the work. During the assessment season, which takes place right before spring break and after spring break, we monitor attendance very closely so we can ensure that makeup tests are completed on time. We want to make sure that our environment is conducive to focusing on learning. We even make sure that our lawns are not being mowed during the assessment season. We communicate to the families the importance of getting a good night rest, coming to school ready to learn. Just want to let you know that the Everett Public School District, 96% attendance during this time for assessments. So I want to there honor and congratulate and thank the entire system of teachers, staff, administration. That is an enormous accomplishment. But again, to the public, this doesn't happen overnight. This is takes place at the beginning of the year, so we are ready for assessments during the springtime. So again, I want to let our community know the inner workings of the district there. Want to share now some happenings that have occurred. We had 206 grade students from all 5 middle schools gathered to learn about careers in our area. They've participated in hands-on lessons and made real-world connections to our CTE programs of study. I want to congratulate the CTE department led by Anthony Anderson, and also to our students who are learning the futures of trade careers. Our GOAL program, many of you may not know what that is, but our GOAL program helps families and students get ready for life after school. It supports them in using their academic, self-help, job skills, and as independently as possible in our community. Recently, teachers and students worked together to improve the courtyard at the Carl Gibson Center, where many summer events have taken place and will take place. We have a wonderful partnership with the Carl Gibson Center and the Volunteers of America, Western Washington. These partnerships provide opportunities for our GOAL students to succeed and thrive. So summer will begin soon as a time to refresh, but stay sharp over the summer as you take awesome opportunities to learn some of our greatest things. Visit our homepage and listen to the pet and the cat story and find all kinds of cool activities to dive into this summer. I want you to read the best you can to keep that brain going over the summer. Each week during the summer, our elementary students can check the Summer's Greatest Hits Hub to see the new lessons and activities. For our middle and high school students, they can visit their school library website for summer reading information as we have partnered with our libraries. Well, this time of year, as you know, many people tend to retire. Our annual retirement celebration took place on June 4th here at the Community Resource Center, and it was a wonderful event led by Chad Golden, the HR department, and support of everybody in our system. This year, we honored over 50 retirees who have shown great dedication and passion for education, making our district better. But please let me call out these individuals. There are 3 individuals with combined service of 135 years. Dr. Betty Cobbs, after 51 years, and Steve Bertrand and Kevin Stark, after 42 years each. A lot of early morning wake-ups. Okay, and I want to mention now the Larry O'Donnell Library dedication. It was standing room only for 300 friends and family at the Lawrence E. O'Donnell Library dedication held June 6 at Everett High School. A true legacy and honor of our own blue and gold, Everett High School alumni, Larry O'Donnell. I am not sure if many have more knowledge of Everett or much school spirit than Larry O'Donnell. He knows everything that takes place in Everett, and he has so much spirit. A warm congratulations again to Larry O'Donnell. Our free summer meals program will begin for our community on July 1st, as you mark your calendar, providing free summer meals to children ages 1 to 18 helps bridge the nutritional gap during the summer months, supporting their physical and cognitive development. This in turn enhances their ability to learn, perform academically, reduce summer learning loss, and promote overall well-being in our community, which is essential for long-term success. Please visit our homepage as you can see the locations so our families can be fed in need. On Wednesday, June 19th, I will remind the public, which is also known as Freedom Day, that all school offices will be closed on June 19th. Thursday, June 20th, is the last day of school and the beginning of summer break. Okay, again, I want to remind everybody not only to refresh and have a wonderful time with family and friends, but to be safe in the summer. Many folks will be traveling and swimming and doing things, so please be safe, and I wish everybody great success. Thank you for the opportunity, Madam Chair and the Board of Directors, this evening.
Well, thank you so much. Now is the time for board comments. Director Herman, would you like to start?
Sure. Yeah, this is celebration season. It's been a fantastic couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to even the next 2 weeks coming up with lots more. But I want to start by thanking the Everett PTSA Council. A couple of weeks ago was the award celebration hosted at Jackson High School with representatives from all over the district. And what is so neat is that the people being recognized, we have parent, volunteers, outstanding staff, student advocates, including Student Representative Gilbertson was honored. But it's such a fun celebration of these grassroots efforts to really build up our school community. So that was really fun to see and be a part of. The staff retirement event last week, as Dr. Salzman has already talked about, bittersweet was the word. Boy, huge congratulations and thank you to all of the staff that are moving on in these next, their next chapter. But it reminded me also about, I loved hearing the comments, I think, that were said on each staff member. And it reminded me of what a family we have here in Everett Public Schools. And then lastly, the library dedication. I'm so glad I was able to be a part of that. You've already talked about it, but at one point, one of the presenters asked, and again, standing room only in the library, raise your hand if you're class of 55. And this isn't born in 55, this is Everett class of 55. And I'd say about 10 to 12 hands went up. And again, just room full of spirit, full of history. It was amazing to be a part of. And then after the ribbon cutting, the singing of the alma mater song, having everyone stand up and sing that was just, that was inspiring. So blue and gold, well done to Everett High on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too much to report. Like Director Herman, I got a chance to attend the PTSA Awards, and those were just very fun to see and see folks come together to celebrate. And then I also got a chance to attend the retirees event last week, and that was also, like Director Herman said, bittersweet to just see so many people with such institutional knowledge of our school system and of our schools leaving us, but hopefully they'll be enjoying retirement. And that's all I have to report.
Mason?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I actually wasn't able to attend those, but I did. I was able to attend the district athletic awards, and I think at one point I leaned over to Dr. Salzman and I just said, if you don't think we have some of the most talented and smartest students in our district, come to this event. It was just so impressive. And just a great celebration. And also still some of the, I think I caught one of the last STEAM nights or STEM nights at Silver Firs. And I visited the event last year and it was even better this year. They're learning and growing the event every year over year, and the participation with the families was amazing. But the coolest thing was they were making ice cream outside by shaking it with ice and watching it harden and then eating it, of course. let's see, and then I got to participate in one of my favorite activities that I do several times a year, the mock interviews, and this time it was at Everett High School, so that was really great. But I would like to take just an extra minute tonight to provide an update on the City of Everett Multi-Use Facility Fiscal Advisory Committee, not the greatest name, but the committee of which I'm a participant. And I just wanted to be able to share with directors and our public sort of, and provide a few facts of what the committee is and what it does and what it is not. The committee was assembled after the Aqua Sox were elevated to a high A minor league team, and Major League Baseball came out and imposed new facility standards for all minor leagues. Funko Field is deficient in many of these requirements, and the city and county began the process of determining what is needed to keep the Aqua Sox baseball team in Everett so we can all enjoy baseball right here. Ultimately, it would result in either a major renovation of Funko Field or a building of a new stadium. The committee is comprised of 9 selected voting members and 6 non-voting elected officials, of which I am one. The city, the county, and Aqua Sox ownership are currently evaluating 2 sites. Funko Field here, which is why I'm providing this update tonight, and then also a downtown location, which is just east, it's the block or the area just east of Angel of the Winds Event Center. So they would sort of have 2, it would be co-located with the event center. The committee's role and responsibilities as written on the City of Everett website, they have 2 bullets. One is a rigorous evaluation of the financial implications, potential revenue streams, cost-benefit analysis, and funding mechanisms associated with the stadium, analysis of alternative financing models, potential public-private partnerships, and the allocation of resources to maximize the return on investment for the community and stakeholders. It is important to note that this committee is not making a decision on site selection. So it's a fiscal committee looked at trying to find funding opportunities for the new stadium. I'd also like to note for the board and the public that the district does not financially benefit from the contract with the Aqua Sox, either now or into the future, nor does it use educational dollars to support Aqua Sox baseball. The contract is structured in a manner that any funds received from the Aqua Sox go back into supporting the facility needs of the team, which ultimately, in the end, is a benefit to our high school teams and, more importantly, to the community, so we can have baseball in our community and an affordable family opportunity. In April, a feasibility study of Funko Field determined it can accommodate the Aqua Sox and their future needs. You can find this study, an updated impact study, and a whole lot of other documents related to this project on the City of Everett website if you're interested in more information. And that's my update on I won't even say the name of the committee, on the committee.
Oh, thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Yeah,
Dr.
you're welcome.
Ovalinsky.
Thank you for allowing me that time.
I was honored to attend a few events in the District Multicultural Night and the PTSA Council, and I'm often reminded of just how diverse and vibrant our community is. And I would also like to shout out Mill Creek Elementary, which received an award from the National PTA for Diversity and Inclusion. And I'm really happy for them. The other thing I would like to say is here we are, we're about to, this weekend, start commencement. And today was the last day for seniors. So a little bit of an early congratulations for them. And then the only other thing I'll mention is I really had a good time reading the ACFR and the consent agenda. I thought it was fantastic, very well written, very informative, and I would encourage anyone else who has a fair number of hours to sit down and read it too. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Gilbertson.
So I don't have too much, 'cause end of the year, but Everett High, we had our field day on this last Friday, and it was so much fun because it was all student run pretty much. Clubs were out there selling stuff. They were selling food. I don't think it wasn't a whole lot of like selling, but selling food, raising money for our clubs. There were students doing henna, there was a plant sale, there was like there was a 1 minute drawing that my club did. We draw people in 1 minute, try our best to, and all kinds of fun stuff. And as well as it was our seniors' last day, obviously, and it was so awesome to see all the Everett High students at the end of the school day, 5 minutes before the bell rang. We were all out there counting down the last 10 seconds, and then saying the I can't say it, but our school chant. So yeah.
Mr. King.
We've just been like full graduation, full senior mode at Jackson, and I really like this time of the year. It gets me really emotional for all the seniors that are leaving. At ASB, we do an event called Senior Tea. It used to be called Mom and Me Tea, and the seniors bring in a parent, and ASB always we have games, and we bring in some music from students at the school. And if you guys have the opportunity, I think you should come next year if you want to make it, because it's really cool. And we're just doing lots of good things, to acknowledge the accomplishments of our seniors, because you've been in the district for so long, and you've been in school for so long. It's such a big turning point in your life. And I also love all the steps the district takes to make the seniors feel accomplished. I'm super excited for my grad walk next year, where you get to go past your old elementary school. And I just hope we keep up the good recognition for the seniors and all that kind of stuff we do in the district.
Thank you. I just want to say, and I wrote down May and June are the best months, but I think I say that in September as well, so please forgive that. I also met with seniors and then one junior, both at Jackson Cascade. Really the best thing to really, as we fake interview them for a job and then give them some feedback, that all of the students had plans after graduation. They were all different, but each of them had a plan, which was really nice to hear. And even a young person from Ghana who could tell me all about the politics in her country, only been here a year. English was really, really good, and you could tell she was working on it. No real English back in her home country. So just really a recognition of our ML programs here, especially as we learned recently, they come in within a year or weeks of graduating. So what we have. The reason I said bittersweet is the retirement celebration. I think this was the hardest one I've had in my years here, because we've had leaders leave, but not so many leaders leave at the same time. So much institutional history, which has been said before, and then also the fact that my daughter's kindergarten teacher retired. So it was just sort of personally bittersweet for that. And then lastly, I attended the middle school art celebration, where I spoke to students and parents about art in the schools. And it was one family that approached me about the fact that they moved here on purpose during the pandemic. Had a child that was an award winner, 4 children, but 2 of them are at Emerson, and just so excited that Emerson with in the Spanish immersion, so has a 2nd grader and then a kindergartner, and just that wanted to come up to me and just tell me about why they moved here, which I thought was so wonderful. Then had another young person come up, a 7th grader, who Dr. Bowden and I were walking out and just asked about art in schools and how she could continue. And to witness somebody like Dr. Bowden, as she was talking to her about the art education, what art can give, how she could move forward, all the options that she had. We have the most outstanding educators, and to hear, I'm a mom, my daughter was an art, I can talk that way, but actually have that student and the mom hear from Dr. Bowden about really what the opportunities are for her daughter. I think that they were very, very, very pleased with that, and I was just very impressed by her, just watching an expert in action was really impressive. So thank you. Okay, so now public comment. Dr. Saltzman, are there any requests for public comment?
Madam Chair, Board of Directors, there's none at this time.
Thank you. Now we move on to section 10.0, legislative updates. Ms. Herman.
Great, thank you. Quick update for tonight, 2 topics that were on our recent LegRep meeting. The first one being student representatives. We actually talk about that program fairly frequently, and it was interesting. They're obviously really encouraging it, but interesting numbers in 2019, about 40 districts had the student representative program. And then this past year, it's about 150. So it's interesting sort of seeing that recognition of the importance of student voice. And it just made me once again appreciate that we have consistently had very engaged students that can lend their attention to what we're doing up here, and it's very important. I did also look back, our policy we adopted, we started in 2011, so we were in Everett one of the early adopters of this program. But anyway, that was, so that will keep coming up. And then the other topic was General Assembly, and this is something, as you know, we have every fall. This is going to be September 20th and 21st, and this is where we, as a school board and school boards across the state, 295 school boards, each get a vote to determine the platform that WASDA will have going forward. And this is also an opportunity to change bylaws. The General Assembly, the handbook will be out this summer, as it typically is. It's a little bit different this year, that there's going to be a window of opportunity to submit amendments. And then in August will be the final version of that handbook. And then again, the General Assembly itself will be September 20th and 21st, hybrid with the in-person happening in Seattle. We use that as our basis of coming up with our own legislative priorities. So we'll be talking about that in the months to come, but those are the only updates I have for now. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Excuse me. This moves us to the section 11.0, the consent agenda. Dr. Saltzman, have you received any questions about the consent agenda items?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the case of this consent agenda, the superintendent's office did not receive any questions on the consent agenda.
Thank you so much. Does any director wish to remove an item from the consent agenda and place it in the new business section of the agenda? Okay. Now, is there any objection to adopting the consent agenda by general consent? Right. Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved by general consent. We now move on to section 12.0, strategic progress monitoring. Dr. Golden, you're going to present us the recruitment, retention, and affirmative action report.
Right. President Mitchell, Board of Directors, Dr. Salzman, I'm excited to share with you the progress the district is making to diversify our workforce. We're doing great work. We've have many celebrations, and we're pleased but not satisfied with where we want to be. Last June, I presented to you an updated affirmative action plan. Every 5 years, we conduct an analysis of the workforce to update our affirmative action plan. Today, I'm going to provide you an update. Why affirmative action? Board Policy 5010, Procedure 5010P, affirmative action and non-discrimination in correlation with Board Policy 10, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Everett Public Schools is committed to an educational environment free from discrimination and harassment. The district is committed to effective equal employment opportunities for all employees and applicants for employment. Every 5 years, we conduct an analysis of the workforce and set goals for employment to increase the ratio of historically underrepresented staff in job classifications in relationship to the availability of such persons having the requisite qualifications. The utilization analysis is one way we monitor our work. This is a deep analysis that drives the affirmative action plan. Our goal is to hire and retain qualified staff who represent the diversity of our student body. Our analysis looks at two groups, females and historically marginalized or underrepresented groups. The statistically expected utilization is determined by the Snohomish County data from the most recent census. There is a 4/5 or 80% rule, meaning 80% of the total number of females or underrepresented groups available in the labor market. It's important to note that our new hires are asked to self-identify their race at hire. Some choose to do this and some don't. We do our best to clarify or seek that answer. Unknown is not an option, so we make our best guess or default to white. Some quick highlights from the 2023 analysis. This slide represents females and unrepresented classified staff. I'd like to specifically draw your attention to the increase in unrepresented staff from 11% in 2018 to 22.5% in 2023, based on the utilization analysis. Slide 5 represents data from certificated staff. On the bottom of the slide, I'd like to note the increase in unrepresented staff from 7.8% in 2018 to 13.5% in 2023. So with the utilization analysis, there are 24 categories. So out of the total 24 categories, the 2023 utilization analysis identified 4 areas of focus. The one job classification that is underutilized for females is maintenance, with 1 person underutilized. 3 areas of focus were identified for underrepresented staff: food service with 6 underutilized, transportation with 1 underutilized, and the professional technical group with 1 underutilized. So 1 year into our 5-year plan, how are we doing? We continue to be 1 person underutilized in our maintenance group for females. We have made significant progress in food services work group with a goal of 6 unrepresented underutilized to 2 underrepresented staff underutilized. We continue to be 1 underutilized in transportation. In the professional technical work group, we've met our goal. All right. Here, you see staff to staff. This comparison is showing the 2017-18 school year compared with the current school year, 23-24. This is all staff, all employee groups in Everett Public Schools. In the middle of the table, the underrepresented staff, approximately 13% in 2017-18, and 18.25% this school year. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have a lot to celebrate. We're pleased but not satisfied. We strive to hire and retain qualified staff who represent the diversity of our students. Here you can see current school year, students, and staff. So what are we doing to diversify our workforce? A few weeks ago, you heard an update on Strategic Plan Theme F specific to recruitment and retention. In human capital, we have several initiatives focused on diversifying our workforce, developing career pathways, and continuous growth for our employee groups. We continue to find ways to build staff sense of belonging and staff wellness. In summary, I'd like to celebrate the progress, increasing the overall underrepresented staff from 2018 to 2023 by 8.5%, increasing that by another % this year. There's been a significant progress in food service and professional technical work groups in the first year of a 5-year goal. We continue to focus on underutilized areas in maintenance, food service, and transportation. What questions do you have?
Are there any questions?
First of all, congratulations on good work.
Congratulations.
Exactly. This is really great to see. And I was wondering, first of all, transportation those are our employees, not Durham.
That would be our Teamsters who are van drivers, not Durham.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And then back on slide 9, I was curious in reviewing this. The 2 or more category, yes. We have that for students. Yes. We have it for classroom teachers. And I'm getting that from report card data on OSBI. Talk to me about that.
So we capture within our system, this is specific to what is entered in our system, what OSPI is pulling when multiple categories are designated. So what this is pulling from is one of the categories. Like gender X is not captured in our information.
Right, so explain that one more time. That's something that it's pulling. Is that something we should be looking at?
Multiple areas, yes. So this is all captured from our system and it feeds in. So our report goes multiple times during the year, October, monthly. This is pulling, what I'm showing you here is pulling from that. And there are categories that might be in there multiple times. Our reporting shows one of those categories. Most often, there often are updates. That's our other challenge. There was recently an update in how we report. So at one point, there was multiple categories, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, and then you drilled down into multiple categories. That's recently changed and we're updating. In fact, I have the new capture. It's much higher level. And it does not capture multiple. And I can share this in another way with you, but it's much higher and there's descriptors under each. Now, again, one of our challenges is there's a category on here that has not been represented in other ways, and that is Middle Eastern North African. So our biggest challenge is the federal standards adjust over time.
I think that's what I was starting to realize is because I've seen the two or more come up
Yes.
as sort of an issue and trying to understand where that's coming from, whether we should be adjusting within our data collection system.
Yes,
But
yes,
we need to meet-
and
yeah.
the complication in the last several years has been the way we've had to report based on the multiple categories.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Director Mason?
I just had a quick comment. Slide 8, it's just awesome news. Every single category trending in the right direction. So thank you for you and your team's work on that.
A celebration, but a lot more to do, yes.
Any other questions or comments, student representatives? I guess I just have a question, because on those slide 9 that you're just on for the students, because I know students are now saying non-binary or gender X. Female, male, those are federal classifications, so the staff would not, I mean, do we report staff being non-binary or gender X? Or is there even a way they could designate themselves that?
We are often slower to make those changes than, we're often much more responsive to our students is probably a better way to say that.
Okay, because I just wonder too, for some of those job classifications and things that being underrepresented or could help in other ways that to get some numbers changed because of, you know, how they see themselves. And how,
Yes.
so, thank you. I don't even know if I said that right, but thank you. Now we'll move on to section 13.0, information and discussion, and there is none for this meeting. Section 14.0, unfinished business, there is none for this meeting. Section 15.0, new business. Mr. Fleckenstein, I think you have 3 policies you're bringing forward, and I'll let you introduce each of them as you move along.
All right, well, good evening. First, we have proposed revisions to, to policy 3405, student wellness. These revisions are to comply with Senate Bill 5257 regarding daily recess. Starting with the 24-25 school year, public schools must provide at least 30 minutes of daily recess within the school day for all students in grades kindergarten through 5. Analysis of our current elementary schools' recess schedules was performed this spring in preparation for this requirement, and we have I determined that we are already in compliance with this law in each of our elementary schools. Proposed revisions to Policy 3405, Student Wellness, have been reviewed by the Policy Review Council, Legal Counsel, and the Superintendent's Cabinet prior to tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Director Mason?
I did have one question, more of a wondering. It is now, it's going to be state law that we provide 30 minutes is law, is that correct? Yeah. How come we don't add that in the policy? I found it in the procedure, but given that it's law, how come we don't reference it in the policy, or what the choice was there? Didn't. Any thoughts?
I guess I hadn't thought about it, but I don't see a reason not to.
My only thought, we could add it is in the procedure, so it's there, but I would go either way on that, as long as it's in one of those two documents.
I'm fine as it is. I just was curious why that choice was made. A lot of times the law kind of comes out in the, or it's referenced, I guess, in the policy, but.
I think it's reasonable because, Mr. Kink, you brought up one time about lunch, the lunch recess, the quick time it is to eat and go to recess. But if I can clarify that, 30 minutes, a lot of elementary school kids, there's 2 recesses. Or so there's the lunch recess and then either a second one or something. And so it's how that school divides up that 30 minutes. So that's what, it doesn't really address your question previously about having enough recess with eating, but the fact that this, we are providing what, at least what the state requires. Well, I'm sure most of our kids would love a lot more. So thank you. Go ahead.
Just one more. I was going to suggest with the new wording that if you're going to be doing another revision on that anyway, just to look at that last of the yellow section, since we're taking out the title of physical activity in schools, I think you can combine the last sentence of the yellow with the following sentence. There's just some redundancy there. So if you could just take a look at that.
Okay, or do we typically, when there's a new law, do we typically put it in the policy or the procedure, or is it kind of a mix?
Yeah, so the legal references would.
Right.
And then sometimes
Right.
procedure for implementation.
Seems like a mix, like sometimes it is, sometimes.
And sometimes just. Understand where you're coming from in terms of.
And I'm curious too, as a student asking the question about recess time, parents probably go to policy versus procedure about a question, is my student getting the requisite amount of recess? So maybe having it in there might help parents if
I
there's a
think,
question.
yeah, I guess my thinking on this was, if it's now law that we have to do this, and we're creating a policy based on that law, that to reference the law or reference the specificity of that law might add, it was kind of just a generic sentence we added in there, and I would prefer a little more detail, I guess.
Yeah. And again, we typically will implement what the WASDA models do, but I'm happy to amend them for greater clarity, so.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thank
So
you.
with those changes, we'll move that one to a second.
Can I ask?
Oh, go
Can I
ahead.
ask a quick one?
Yeah.
The very last link is a link to like the CDC website. Do you think? Would that be maybe better moved up to the cross-references rather than legal references?
Happy to look into that.
Well, okay.
Thank you, that makes sense. So we'll, with those modifications, minor, we'll move that to second reading. So,
Next, we have policy 6. Written policy will assist. In accordance to the general. Reviewed by legal counsel.
are there any questions? Oh, go ahead, yes, please.
Quick question, did this come out of the audit, or, 'cause I would think that this would be covered by GAAP by default? Thank you.
Reasonable to move it to second reading, thank you.
The revision also include changing.
Are there any questions? Oh, okay. Larry, we will move that one also to second reading by general consent on all three of those. And now we're moving on to section 16.0, upcoming agenda items. Dr. Saltzman, what do we have planned?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public. At the June 13th special meeting, board members will attend the Sequoia High School commencement. At the June 15th special meeting, board members will attend the other high school commencements of Cascade, Jackson, and Everett High School. At the June 25th regular meeting, the Board of General will contain the following: graduation update, the class of 2024, and preview of summer graduation. Third quarter financial report, May financial report, board workshop planning, Discipline Appeal Council 2024-2025, PTSA limited use permit, Imagine Learning contract, Springboard contract, Opportunity Council use permit, Capital Facilities Plan approval 2020 through 2029, and several policies for second reading. Thank you, Madam Chair and Board of Directors.
Thank you. Now moving on to section 17.0, executive or closed session. There is none for this meeting, which takes us on to section 18.0, or adjournment. This concludes the June 11th, 2024 regular meeting of the Everett Public Schools Board of Directors. The meeting is hereby adjourned. In an hour.